Hello guys! Welcome back to our YouTube channel. In today's video, we'll go over 12 of the best stories about Tim Duncan. Make sure to watch till the end to find out about his weirdest hobby. But before jumping to the video, we'd like you to pop down to that subscribe button and also make sure to make the bell icon happy too. Alright, let's get into it with number 12. San Antonio boxing legend, a featherweight and welterweight champion, Jesse James Leah, was assigned to be the trainer for Tim Duncan. Through his tough training routines, he not only helped Tim Duncan lose around 24 pounds in the offseason, but also improved the performance and physique of Duncan's teammates. One time, Tim even asked Leah, his trainer, to spar with him outside the Spurs practice facility in the heat of the sun. Leah tells about that story, saying, "It was maybe 90 degrees and we were in the sun for 6 rounds, close to 30 minutes non-stop, just because Tim wanted to go out there. He didn't have to do this, he's already a great player, but he wanted to get better. Tim wanted to work harder. I was like, this guy is amazing. This guy is crazy. I know why he's one of the best NBA players ever." Next up at number 11, Etan Thomas, a former NBA player, during his time in the NBA, was once playing a game against Tim Duncan, and he shared an amazing story of Tim advising him during the game. He wrote this on his Facebook page. "So, we're playing the Spurs and I get the ball on the post. I inside pivot and sweep to the middle for my jump hook and he blocks it. So, as we are running down the court, he says to me, 'That was a good move, but you have to get more into my body so you can either draw the foul or I can't block it.' Thomas went on to say, 'So I didn't know if he was talking noise or what, so just kind of looked at him confused and said, okay. Then a few plays later, I did it again and got more into his body and he couldn't block it. I missed the shot and he looked at me and said, much better, and kept playing.' Thomas also said, 'Tim Duncan is honestly one of the nicest guys in the NBA and one of the best power forwards ever. Respect.' Coming in at number 10, Steven Adams once got tricked by Tim, and he explains that during his time as a rookie, Tim, who was about 20 years old, played mind games with him. According to Adams, he's not really crazy athletic, but he still destroys you. And he's a nice guy. That was my biggest mistake as a rookie. I was hitting him all the time and he was having trouble with it. And then he came over and talked to me a bit. He was like, 'Hey man, how are you?' And I was like, oh, what a nice guy. Then he just dropped 20 from there on. I told Mark Bryant and he was like, 'That's a vet move. Don't do that. You can't be nice.' Let's move on now to number 9. Here's a crazy story when Steven Jackson, a former NBA player who played 14 seasons in the NBA, went out with Tim Duncan to play paintball. He shared his experience on the Ryan Russillo show.
So what happened? You almost got kicked off the Spurs for what? Killing Tim Duncan?
This is going into the championship year, going into the 03. The previous year, I was on the injury list, so I didn't play all that year.
And you liked Tim. You and Tim got along.
That's my guy. It felt like I had my big brother again, because I lost my big brother when I was 15. He used to always take me with him playing paintball. He knew I wasn't scared of nothing. We wanted to have a team bonding event before training camp. Tim has the 2025 paintball guns. So we decided to go. So I didn't know really the paintball talk. You know, it's like yards.
Sure.
But it's beams that you hide behind. We're playing a game called Get the Flag. I had the normal mask that you get from the place when you go there. They give you the stock stuff. So I'm not knowing that these masks fog up. I'm 007. I'm dodging bullets, sliding. You know, I'm just doing all the stuff that I see on video games. I get to the stairs to grab the flag, right? So I'm ducking down and I'm reaching up for the flag. And as I reach up for the flag, I breathe and my mask fogs up. As I do that, my mask slides up. I hit the step, mouth first. Boom! So I'm on the steps, trying to feel like all this blood coming from my lip, just swelling up at the same time. It's just swelling up. They see my mouth. Tim's like, how are we gonna explain this to Pop? We would go to practice tomorrow, right? And once we got to practice, we had a nice story. I don't remember exactly what the story was the next day. So I get to practice and I see Pop. So his face is like, I don't wanna hear it. Don't BS me. Tell me what happened. Pop has you jeopardized my best player, Tim Duncan. You was involved. You're hurt. I don't know what, As I'm finna explain, Pop, Malik walks in and points at my lip. Yo, what is this? And just busts out laughing, right? He seen I was all right.
Yeah.
And Malik kind of broke the ice. Pop's only reply was, I'm glad it was you and not Tim.
All right, moving on now to number 8. We've got a crazy story from when Tim Duncan kicked Kevin Garnett's ass. Yeah, you heard that one right. The word pimp doesn't really describe Tim Duncan, but that's what Meta World Peace referred to him as after watching him play a game against Kevin Garnett. He tells the story as, quote, "I remember one time Kevin Garnett was pushing him and shoving him in the face, and Tim Duncan didn't do anything. He didn't react. He just kicked Kevin Garnett's ass and won the damn championship. You know what I'm saying? That's gangsta. Everybody can show emotion, dunk on somebody, scream, and be real cocky. But Tim Duncan he's a pimp." Now we're on to number 7. For Duncan, it looked to be the start of the end of his career in the 2010 playoffs, when the Spurs were swept by Phoenix after tormenting the Steve Nash-led Suns for years. But instead, Tim developed some convincing counters to push back that mileage he was putting on and continue his career. New Golden State Warriors coach Kerr, who played side by side with Duncan for 4 seasons and was the Suns' general manager at the time, compares Tim's performance when he was in the playoffs and his performance a few years after. He was missing easy shots against us, Kerr recalls. He just wasn't himself in that series, and it was easy to say, well, this is it. He's got 1 or 2 years left, and he's going to have to play 25 minutes a game and settle for being a solid player. Kerr went on to say in that interview, and here he is 3 years later, and he's all NBA again. Coming in at number 6, Sean Elliott, a former teammate and a good friend of Tim, remembers Tim Duncan's work routine and once shared his story about how hard-working Duncan really is. He said, quote, "This guy works so hard in the summertime, you don't even know. I go to the practice facility about 5 or 6 times during the summer to shoot baskets or work out or give someone a tour, and Timmy will be there every time. The assistant coaches tell me stories about how they'll bring in free agents to woo or some of the kids they're thinking about drafting. They'll go in and Timmy's in the gym working out. And they're like, Tim Duncan is here? They're shocked. He's an anomaly. He's a big man and a gym rat. That's an oxymoron. You have a lot of bigs who play because they're big. Guards play because they love it. Timmy has a guard's mentality. He has a guard's passion for the game in a big body. That's why he's been so good." Moving on now to number 5, Kevin Martin was really fond of Tim's stamina and endurance. He was amazed by Tim's gaming spirit. According to Kevin, Tim was always ready for a game and he never saw him mumbling about fatigue. He said he does the exact same thing at the exact same time every day. "I remember the game we played in Golden State in early April. We got beat pretty bad and Pop was going to rest everybody the next night in Denver, but Timmy wanted to play. The whole rest of the starting 5 and Manu rested, but Timmy wanted to play on some random Friday night. He's more reliable than a robot. He's always ready to go the next day." Next up at number 4, we have an amazing story of how Tim inspired Chris King and helped make his path to the NBA. After Chris King's newbie season with the Seattle Supersonics, his representative Bob Kingsley arranged a visit for NBA players to help raise funds and spread mindfulness following a string of brutality in the Virgin Islands. They accumulated a mixed team utilizing any contacts they could, and the greatest fascination they landed was Alonzo Mourning, who at that point had turned into a star. So when the NBA players arrived, they heard about this 16-year-old boy, a 6'9" center with a good game who used to be a star swimmer, and they grew curious about this kid named Tim. King remembers, "Here comes this long, lanky kid. He looked so young." Now, Tim played a game against Mourning inside a packed gym. He caught a pass on the block, turned, squared up, and banked a shot in over Mourning. And the whole night, King said Duncan dominated Mourning. King was blown away by the performance of Duncan in just one charity game. He said, "You could see he was a little raw, but you could see he had the touch. When I saw him doing that on the low block, it was like, wow, jump hook, fade. This one play I'll never forget. Alonzo tried to go up, Tim blocked the shot, and he ran the floor like a deer. Someone threw it to him, and he dunked all over Alonzo." He's playing against Alonzo Mourning. He's 16. He's dominating this guy. He's running on the floor. He has these great hands. I was like, oh my God, this kid can play. Now we're on to number 3. In 2007, Greg Oden was interviewed in Dime magazine. He shared the story when he was warned about not taking Tim Duncan lightly. He says, "Everyone's been telling me that as a big man, no matter how much I prepare myself, you learn your toughest lesson when you go down to San Antonio. The other day, former NBA player and Blazers assistant coach Monty Williams pulled me aside and told me, that guy down there, meaning Tim Duncan, has had surgery on his left knee. He can only jump about this high, holds his fingers about an inch apart. He won't say a word to you, and he will bust your ass." Moving on now to number 2, David Robinson was being interviewed on the Dan Patrick Show when he was asked about how and when he realized how good Tim Duncan was. He said, "Right away. We played against him when I was with the '96 Olympic team against the college team. He played against me, Shaq, and Hakeem, and he had an easy 22-10. I thought, wow, I never watched that kid, but he's pretty good. Then, a few months later, we were able to draft him, and I knew we were in good shape when we drafted him. I invited him to my place in Colorado and said, let's go work out during the summer, and he was phenomenal. I thought, okay, I can see you're gonna take over. He could score on the block with both hands. He's one of the best low post players I've ever seen, which I guess people now have learned." Alright, and that about wraps it up for today's video. Oh yeah, we just forgot the number 1 story. Okay, well, here it is. Number 1. Once, Duncan accidentally wore his shorts backward during his best game, and when he realized it, he then made it his fashion and kept wearing his shorts backwards in every practice session. And that's not the only weird thing about him. Our guy is attracted to knives and even swords. Over the years, he's been collecting a very fine collection of knives and swords, and not just that, he even owns a real samurai katana. It's pretty amazing, don't you think? Now, that's a real ending, right guys? Hey, if you think our content is good, then please make sure to leave a thumbs up for us. And if you want to keep watching, then check out the 6 most heated Steven Adams moments up next.